Welcome back, everybody. Tonight we have another great roundtable discussion, great panel as usual. We're going to be talking about EDC and formal attire or dressing up, black tie, whatever you want to call it. As most of you probably know, it's not as easy to carry your EDC items when you have to. Welcome back, everybody. Tonight we have another great roundtable discussion, great panel. As tonight we're going to talk about EDC and formal attire or dressing up, from Kentucky, whatever you want to call it. Jared from Keystone, Gary and TA Target. Noah will be producing as usual, and Ryan from Embrace the Recoil. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good. All right. Let's get right into it. Now, tonight, it might be a little bit different of a setup. We're going to have as much dialogue coming from every different direction. It won't be just me asking questions. A lot of the guys on the panel tonight have questions. And, of course, our viewers are always welcome to ask questions down below or on Instagram. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the most general question, and hopefully we can breed some dialogue out of this question. Does your EDC change when you have to dress up? Let's start at the very beginning. Go ahead, Ohio 2A.
Yeah, absolutely. When I dress up, I can't really conceal as much stuff as I like to. I know I probably carry more than I might need to in the first place, but when I dress up, I am going more minimalist, might be the best way to describe it. I just have the bare essentials, and then also a single stack is pretty much what I always go with while dressing up.
Okay, when you say single stack, what would that be?
So I'm thinking I use a lot of times the Glock 42. I want to get a Glock 43. It just wasn't out when I got the 42.
Sure.
It's a 380. But yeah, so I go with that rather than my Glock 19. But with that said, I'm actually in the mindset now for the past few months when it's been hot outside. Once it gets cold outside and I can wear a blazer, then no, it pretty much stays the same. I just switch my position for what I'm carrying to behind the hips rather than carrying the appendix.
Okay, very cool. Light, knife, all that stuff stays the same, or does that change, or no light? What do you think about that?
So it really depends because, I mean, you know, you could be wearing jeans and walking around and having a knife or a light in your pocket, no one gives a second look. You're wearing a three-piece suit and you have a knife on your, in your pocket. Sometimes that just doesn't look right.
Right.
I've actually played before with putting my knife and my light on my belt and then using that when I'm wearing a blazer and putting it behind the hip. But other than that, though, I've done a few things. I've used the knife just in my pocket. I've used a light in my pocket so it's not secured on the outside. I just try to make sure that I blend in as much as possible. I don't want to be dressed up and then having something just odd sticking out to make me not blend into the crowd.
Right, going total gray man, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Rex, your take?
I only carry OWB mag carriers right now, so I definitely ditch that if I have to tuck in my shirt. But other than that, first aid, I switched to just carrying a tourniquet instead of having my full kit. So other than that, it stays pretty much the same.
Okay, cool. No problems. Now, you run an M&P full size. No problems concealing that when you're dressed up?
No. It's kind of the benefit of being skinny and really tall. Shirts are made for tall and big and not tall and skinny. So,
Fact.
Very cool. Jared, go ahead.
My position changes from where I carry, especially as of lately. My holster allows me to tuck in around my gun if I have to tuck my shirt in. If I'm at a wedding, for example, I've integrated, if I've had to buy the suit for the wedding, which has actually happened more often than not, it seems lately, there's lots of pockets. I can utilize some of those inner pockets on the jacket for my flashlight. Typically, maybe I'm wrong, but I just keep my knife in my pocket. Nobody seems to care. But I don't go to that many formal occasions that are that dressed up. But typically, I'm back at like the 4 o'clock position if I'm tucked in. But I still carry a Glock 19. I don't typically downsize for anything. I used to carry an M&P, the 9 compact. That was a little more concealable, but I don't seem to have any issues with a Glock 19.
Okay, cool. Ryan?
If I'm getting dressed up, chances are I'm probably drinking my face off, so I won't be carrying a pistol with me. Because I don't get dressed up that much. But if it's like for church and stuff, I'll just have my pocket knife. And then if it's something where I do carry, normally I do switch to my shield, and then have a mag carrier like at 3-4. It's just a little bit less printing, less things to worry about when I go deep concealment. But normally to weddings, I'm not carrying anything.
Okay. Me personally, I do switch some things around. I carry a Glock 26 on my ankle, and I do something that's not typically seen. I carry spare mags on my other ankle. The Galco rig allows me to carry 2 spare mags on my other ankle. My train of thought is if I burn through a whole mag in whatever I'm in, hopefully I have found some sort of cover or concealment where I can get to a spare mag. I run the Glock 26 with the extended base plate, so I'm getting 13 rounds total in the gun, 12 in the mag, 1 in the tube. I try to go as gray man as I can as well, because when you're dressed up, everything sticks out. So lights and knife don't get clipped. They go down in the pocket. And the gun and mags obviously are on my ankles. And luckily, dress pants make it really easy to carry on the ankle. They're easy to get to because they're light. They're usually wide down at the bottom. And they're just easy to pull up and get to the gun. So that's just me. That would be my EDC typically when I dress up. Let's move on to some of the other questions and get into the specifics. So, when you are dressing up, and we kind of touched on this a little bit, do you dress around your EDC? Like, this is what I'm carrying, and I'll make the clothes work for my EDC. Or does the EDC change because of the clothes you have to wear? Now, some of you have touched on this a little bit. You can elaborate, or you can just give me a straight answer on what you do. Ryan, let's start with you.
Yeah, it depends kind of when and where and what I'm wearing. If it's just like a button-down shirt, normally I'll stick with my full size, because a lot of times with the button-up shirts I wear, it has like a pattern that's going to break up a print anyway. And I'm not a big guy that cares a ton if I'm printing a little bit. I just don't. But then, like I said, if I'm going deep conceal where I do not want anyone to know, then yeah, normally I switch, because I wear a sidecar for my full size, so it has the gun offset of my center. So I'll switch to my silent arms concealment holster and put it right on center of my body, so that way there's no print at all. And then, like I said, I'll carry a spare mag at 3-4, so that doesn't print. I had a video last week of my setup, and it's just, I know that when I wear that, it doesn't show at all.
Okay, cool. Jared?
I would say typically I try to dress around what I'm planning on carrying. Sometimes I can't do that. The example would be like a really formal wedding. There's just been times that I just could not carry what was ideal to me to carry in a way that I wanted to, but I would say probably 95% of the time I can actually dress around what I plan on carrying, and I'd like that to be my priority.
Okay.
Just 'cause that's how I'm comfortable.
Okay, excellent. Rex?
I'm kind of like the same answer. 99% of the time, I am just I'm gonna dress to my EDC and not have my EDC change to my dress. But that being said, if it's winter, I wear a lot of cardigans, and cardigans cover just about everything. So it really just depends on the time of the year.
Gotta love a cardigan. Ohio 2A.
Yeah, it depends on time of year. If it's during the summertime, I mean, if I have to dress up a certain way, I'm going to dress up a certain way so I blend in, so it's not anything sticking out, kind of like I said before. But wintertime, as soon as you have a coat on, it really doesn't make a difference, or a blazer. You can kind of dress around your gun at that point. But I would say if I had to decide and pick one, I definitely choose my EDC around what I have to wear.
Okay, cool. Noah, just interject if you get any questions from the audience as usual. I'm going to move on to the next question. All right, somebody, this might be a funny question, but does your EDC get more fancy if you dress up, so to speak? Do you get more glamorous? Do you carry more expensive things if you're going to something formal and you have to dress up? I'm going to say off the bat, yes, I'm guilty of this. I am.
Yeah, we know, Ben.
Totally guilty. I like to carry nicer things if I'm going to dress up. Now, some people will be like, oh, that's not nice. But in my mind, I think it's nice, and that's why I carry it. But that's just me. So let's move down the line. Start with Ohio 2A. What do you think?
So I haven't before, but I have thought about it somewhat recently because a lot of times also, and I should have mentioned it before, I kind of have what I will call a man purse or a satchel, and sometimes I'll carry that if I want to carry extra ammo or a bigger gun. So one thing I noticed is my flashlight is just beat to hell, and I put that in there too, and like everything else looks really nice. The bag looks nice, everything that people can see looks nice, and it's just a beat up flashlight. So I have thought about it, but no, at this point, no. I use the same tools pretty much every day, and none of them really look that pretty anymore.
Hey, he has an agency Glock, so.
Well, but yeah, that's a completely different animal. No, but I get where you're coming from, and I just had my first thought about that a couple weeks ago. So maybe in the future, but not so far.
Yeah, you just see some of these guys in the EDC realm, they'll get like all brass everything. So brass pen, brass flashlight, brass money clip, and it looks cool. It looks fancy. I mean, they whip that stuff out just when they have to dress up. Better watch. I know a lot of us are guilty of that. Like, I wear a G-Shock majority of the time, but I'm not going to wear my G-Shock to a wedding. I'm going to switch over and wear something else. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm vain. I don't know, but I just like it. Rex, what do you think?
Oh, I switched to stainless steel everything. Not really. I'm not blessed to have enough stuff to switch. I'm like Perry. My flashlight's pretty junky. I have a smaller one that fits in my pocket better. But other than that, no, I don't switch much.
Jared, go ahead. I know the answer on this.
I know the answer to this, buddy. No, it's all the same. It never changes, and I don't dress up much at all. I'm not going for the fancy look. I go for the functional.
There you go.
I mean, if you ever catch me in anything flashy, that'll be the day. It probably won't happen.
I'll catch you. I will.
We'll catch you.
Ryan, go ahead.
No, nothing really changes.
Ryan! I thought Ryan would be the only one. The best looking dude in the whole Second Amendment community, I thought would be a little bit fancy.
I'm literally, I could bring my girlfriend down here right now. She'll tell you I'm the cheapest SOB in the game. I got one watch. My shirts cost like $7. I don't spend money. Have less, do more. That's my life philosophy. I am cheap.
Does your hair tie change at all, or?
Yeah, my hair products cost more when I go out, but other than that. But that doesn't count.
You gotta tame that mane. All right, cool. No, do you have any questions yet? Okay, let's move on to carrying a gun. We all said, yes, most of us carry a gun when we're dressed up. Does the location change? We touched on it a little bit, but why does the location change? And do you have any pointers for anyone that's trying to conceal a gun when they are dressed up? Let's start with you, Ryan.
Like I said, I moved to a single holster, not the sidecar, so it sits in the center of my body. The one thing I think a lot of people don't pay attention to, and you should, is a lot of dry fire is done with a t-shirt on, which stretches and moves when you're clearing it. If you switch to a button-up shirt, there's no movement to it, so the whole clearing process is a lot different. So if you do switch often, which I think like Ohio 2A does and stuff, like if you switch a lot, you should practice that because it doesn't expand. And then a lot of times I leave the bottom button undone because it gives me a little bit more movement with the shirt.
Sure. It's better for business. I get it.
Business.
For business.
Jared, go ahead. Does the location change? Because you are actually, you rotate a little bit right now between appendix and the 4 o'clock position.
Yeah, thanks to you. Yeah, so I'm new to appendix altogether. I like it a lot. I think it's more comfortable throughout the day. It's a lot harder for me to get a shirt tucked in, which again, I don't really tuck in shirts much, but it's just not as nice, and so I use my Alien Gear cloak tuck. That actually allows me to get my shirt underneath the holster around the clips. Now, you could see the clips on my belt, but I really don't think most people are looking that closely. And if you're looking at me that close, I'm probably looking back at you really weird because you shouldn't be looking at my butt like that. But, yeah, so I do rotate, and it depends if I'm in the shop. It depends on a lot of different things as to where or how I'm going to carry. So that's the long and short of it.
Okay. Rex, location change at all?
No, but I'm open to like what is it, shoulder holsters? Like I think if I had to start wearing coats a lot, I'd be real open to that.
Shoulder holsters are the best. They're so comfortable. They seriously are so comfortable.
Yeah, okay. Well, Rex, you carry a revolver sometimes. I mean, does that find its way into the EDC when you dress up and the M&P stays at home, or?
It has once, so I can't say it does regularly. But again, I carried it appendix, and if I carry them both, I carry them both appendix at the same time. So.
Right. Okay. Ohio 2A, location change or no?
Yeah, because I love appendix when my shirt's untucked.
Ohio 2A, are you there? Yeah, can you hear me? He's
He
gone.
always drops off.
He's gone.
Can you hear me?
All right. Any questions from the panel yet? Rex, do you have anything?
Yeah, I actually have one from Robinson Outdoors.
Okay.
He asked, ankle holsters, yes or no? Obviously, something is better than nothing, but to the ones who have carried on the ankle, which specific holsters do you like best, and what guns were you carrying?
I think I was the only ankle. The Galco ankle glove is by far the king of the hill when it comes to ankle carry. It uses a neoprene wrap with Velcro, and then it's lined with sheep's wool, so it's super comfy. The neoprene stretches and breathes really nicely. It's leather, so you got to worry about moisture a little bit, and it has a snap retention, a button snap retention. It's just one of those things, and Ryan kind of touched on it a little bit. You got to train with this stuff. You got to practice with it, because if you think you're just gonna roll out with an ankle holster one day, it's not fast to get to, comparatively speaking, to everything else. So you got to train. We did a video on it, a YouTube video on carrying on the ankle, how it's still a viable option. It's great in certain scenarios. It's terrible in others. So you gotta really train. And then if you're reloading from the ankle as well, same thing. Tough. Really, really tough. But that's a good question.
I used to.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Sorry. I used to carry that same setup, but I had a revolver, and I used to carry ankle. I had the Gelco. That thing is super, super nice. Like I said, I used to just wear long socks, and then I put it around the socks, so that way sweat wasn't as much of an issue. It's very, very comfortable, very, very well made, good retention with the snap. And like I said, I carried a 5-shot, but I used to carry it when I cooked. I used to cook when I was 21. And you didn't want anything that would like fall out, so I just rocked it on my ankle, and I'd wear it for 8-hour shifts, no problem.
That's awesome.
So that is a question I had for people that carry ankle. Has that ever happened? Have you ever felt it start coming loose when you're walking? Because I feel that'd be like my biggest fear. Having
That
to bend
Velcro
down
thing is like Velcro for probably like 60% of the whole thing. I mean, it is like a glove on there. You have to literally, like, it's like if you have plates, it's that same style, like super thick wrap band.
Yeah.
And once you put it on, it's on.
Yeah, it's like a cummerbund basically for your ankle.
Yeah.
And the retention on the Galcos are really, really good. It's not coming out or off anyway unless you intentionally do that.
Yep. That's a nice setup.
But yeah.
What's the biggest
actually-
gun you guys would carry on your ankle?
The Glock 26 for me is the biggest. It's a double stack subcompact. There's way better choices than that. I think I just like the round count I'm getting out of the 26 with the plus base plate. I'm almost at a Glock 19, but not quite. 2 rounds short. But yeah, the Glock 26 or the M&P compact, if you want something in the American line, would be the most comparative. The Shield, I mean, I've done that. It doesn't even feel like it's there.
Yeah.
When you carry it on your ankle, which is awesome. What else? The 43, awesome on your ankle. But you are sacrificing capacity, obviously. So
I think a lot of people assume with ankle carry that you have a gun down there and it's going to feel really awkward, like it's going to move around. But if you get the right holster like that Gelco, it literally just becomes like a part of your leg. You don't feel it moving when you walk. Like, you know it's there, obviously, but it's not something that you're you're gonna constantly like be reminded of because it's uncomfortable. It's very comfortable.
Yeah, it reminds me when I was under house arrest and I had to wear that ankle band. It's like super tight to your ankle and it doesn't move. You can't get it off. It was the exact same thing. So, yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, good questions. Good questions. Does anyone else from the panel have a question before I move on?
So I have one question.
Oh, go ahead, Ohio.
Okay, well, I was going to say, so I wear sandals all the time, and I get crap for it nonstop because people say it impedes your mobility. Do you guys think that dress shoes do the same thing, or do you guys wear certain types of shoes when dressing up?
No, Noah's big on the dress shoe type thing because we have to do security details sometime. We have to dress up. I think dress shoes impede mobility a ton. They are slick. They have no traction. I don't like them. That's just me. I mean, some other people might say like, "Oh, you're just buying the wrong dress shoes," and I probably am. But I mean, I don't like them. Noah has a pair of dress shoes that he absolutely loves. Noah, do you want to touch on that a little bit? The dress shoes you wear, you've had them since like 1914.
Yeah. Well, I found a pair, and they're a pair of Dockers, and they're not slick bottoms, so they're almost like they're not tuxedo shoes by any means, so they don't have, they don't look like that, but you can absolutely rock them with anything from like jeans to, khakis. I've worn them with a suit, but even when I wear my dress shoes, I rarely get dress shoes that don't have rubber soles. My dress shoes almost always have rubber soles. And to give you an idea, like the pair that I have, Ohio, you were asking about your gun falling out. I actually ran a 5K in those shoes with my Glock 26 on my ankle.
That just makes you look old.
What the heck? Who does that?
You did a 5K in dress shoes?
I was wearing like khakis and stuff. Like I wasn't like a 5K. Like I didn't go run with a group. Like I ran 5K, like 3.2 miles.
Yeah, I've done that once before where I had my belt on with all my gear and just normal clothes, and I ran for 2 miles, and that was kind of interesting. But I never thought about doing that in dress shoes.
Yeah,
what the hell are you guys doing?
I didn't have the car that day, and I wanted to get to class that I was going to, so I just ran to it. So.
If I ever accidentally run a 5K, there's a lot of problems.
It wasn't accidentally. I mean, I meant to do it. But.
Great question. Yeah, shoes. Ugh. Does anyone else have anything to say about shoes before we move on? No? Ryan, you had a question. Go ahead.
Concealed carry women asked, medical supplies, what and how do you carry in formal wear?
Yeah, great
I
question.
know Kane tucked on, or Rex tucked on it. But.
Yeah, Rex, kind of touch on what you're thinking, what you looked at today, how you feel about that. Go ahead.
I'll be honest, my internet cut out for a second. I missed the question.
You were looking at something for medical today, from a particular company. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I saw U.S. Palm just put out a IFAC kit that goes around your ankle. Which I mean, it's like an ankle holster, but it's got a whole bunch of slots and stuff in it that you just fit it in there, and it looked really, really cool. I currently have the WH Tactical Wild Hedgehog Tactical one, which if I'm wearing a coat fits in it really well. But yeah, I think that looks really neat. I'm probably going to explore that.
Yeah, it's an awesome product. Rogue Gunfighter also made a type of model similar to it. U.S. Palm's making it now. It fits a lot of critical items for a dynamic shooting situation, so to speak. It goes all on your ankle. Totally concealable. I've totally thrown a tourniquet in my pocket before, like a SWAT tee, or just a soft tee wide in my pocket when dressing up, because I typically don't need my wallet, or I don't need my cell phone, so I'll just substitute it out with a tourniquet of some sort. Does anyone else try to carry medical when they dress up?
I'm wishing I did, right?
My car,
Yeah.
That's basically it.
It's always the same thing. I wish I carried more medical. Yeah, I know. That's a great question, though. And as far as I'm concerned, ankle is going to be the most low profile for the most gear. And like I said, Rogue American Gunfighter and U.S. Palm make great ankle kits. So check them
What
out.
tourniquet? I have a question. What tourniquet am I thinking of where I've seen someone put it underneath their belt? So where I don't know if it's Rat's tourniquet. I could be completely wrong with
That'd be
that.
a rat. Yeah, that'd be a rat. That's a good point. That's a
Because
great
I like that idea. I've never tried that before.
The Rats is very low profile, and it was designed that way for guys overseas that wanted to put more on them, less weight. They didn't take up more paneling, molly paneling than they should. I've seen guys do a Rats on their belt and literally run the tourniquet down their pant leg, and it just goes on their inseam. But that's a great point, Ohio 2A. That is a great tourniquet if you want to go low pro. What did they say at Storm Mountain, Noah? They're very tough to get off once you get them on. Like once you wrap those things and put them in the winch, it's tough.
You don't want to mess around with putting them on.
Like training with them.
Right, because by yourself especially, and you should have a trainer. Don't use a real one because you may have to cut it off.
Yeah,
so, which is
a real deal.
Which is also a downplay to them because a tourniquet should be backed off in stages by professional medical to allow blood flow not to suddenly rush back in, but to slowly begin to inflate the veins and arteries.
Yep. I have a question from Sheepdog Defense Project.
All right.
Great profile. Go follow him if you don't. That's a great profile. They do a lot of great things over there. His question is dressed up defined as having a shirt tucked in, or are we talking a Ryan level of dressed up, aka button up, because these are varying levels of difficulty and very different?
That's a fact. That is a fact.
I think we covered it a little bit. I mean, yeah, there's different levels of dressing up. I mean, if I don't have to, what it comes down to, do I have to tuck my shirt in or not? I think for me, that's the biggest thing. If I have to tuck my shirt in, I'm not putting anything on my belt, and there aren't going to be any clipped things in my pocket. For me. That's just for me. For the rest of you, it might be different. I know people have tuckable holsters and things like that. So dressed up for me means, okay, I got to tuck my shirt in, and, I can't wear my normal gear around my waistline, for me. So hopefully that answers your question a little bit, and that can get you to some other questions throughout the chat of what we're kind of talking about.
It's different for everybody, too, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to be different.
Yeah, we all came at it from what we do when we dress up. I didn't really think about that before, because now I'm thinking about stuff in the winter, hearing people mentioning sweaters. I might start wearing, nice sweaters when I dress up rather than tucking in a button-up shirt, because that means I can carry way more if it's not tucked in. So that's actually a really good point.
Yeah. Or the old button-up shirt underneath a deep V sweater. I've been known to that. I mean, I like a deep V now, but I get to still wear stuff on my belt. You guys know what I'm talking about.
No, actually, I don't.
All right. Let's move on. Does anyone else have any questions before I move on from the group? No? Okay. We touched on this a little bit, and how important is it? Is it practical to train while dressed up from time to time? And do you guys do it? Let's be honest. Let's be real honest. Do you train dressed up? Let's start with Ohio 2A.
Yeah, no, I don't at all. I need to. No, I definitely need to, and I'm sure I will be. I saw some cool challenges of people trying that on the Instagrams, but yeah, I've failed at that horribly.
Rex?
Typically I do, and it's kind of a weird habit I have, but every time I put on like dress clothes, I get really curious just to see if I can draw quickly. So I make a game out of it, but that's not consistent, and I'd probably do terrible in a real life situation like that because it's not consistent at all. And I just posted a video of myself trying to do dry fire with my revolver after not having done that for probably at least a month, if not more. So yeah, that video, go watch it. It's very, very, very illustrative of why you need to practice, because I did terribly.
Okay, cool. Jared.
Yes, I think you should. Do I? Well, considering that what I'm wearing right now is my definition of dressing up, I'm going to answer that with a yes.
The Al,
See, my nice little.
Al Borland of dressing up.
I feel like he's had that shirt on every time I've seen him since I met him.
No, I have actually. Okay.
All right, different colors.
There's
same
different
shirt.
colors. There's
Yeah.
same patterns. I have same colors that are very similar patterns.
He bought out a rack at Target and was like, "I'm
Yeah,
good." Like,
you know it.
here.
But, so do I, as far as a button-up like this, yes, I do train often at the range. And Ben, you've made fun of me for having long sleeves on.
Yep.
But yeah, so as far as that, yes. Have I ever trained in like wedding attire? No, the suit's too expensive, and I just can't. You know how that goes. You buy a suit for a wedding, the last thing on your mind is to run out and shoot at the range. But
Yep.
so I think it would be something that people should consider. But I guess it all depends on your level again of what you consider dressing up.
Right. Ryan.
I practice from a button-up shirt, but I work really hard to not have to dress up. Like, that's my goal in life, is to not have to, like, put on slacks. So I rarely dress up. Like, I've tucked my shirt in twice in the last 3 years. That's the honest truth. I just don't do it.
Nice.
So I don't practice it that much.
And usually you only wear half a shirt, so.
Right. Yeah, bro tank. I practice from my bro tank a lot. I'm sub second from bro tank.
I've dry fired dressed up. That's about the best of it. I've never live fired dressed up. I probably should. I saw a picture of Aaron Cohen from Sage Dynamics, I guess a couple weeks ago, where he was in like literally a three-piece suit with body armor on, shooting at the range down in Georgia, and he looked like he was sweating his balls off, but he was having a great time. Like, that's awesome. That guy's legit. I give him a lot of credit for doing that. Also, I mean, Aaron did protective details for some pretty major people, if I'm correct. So he was probably used to that and did that kind of stuff all the time. Really knowledgeable. If you guys don't know who Aaron Cohen from Sage Dynamics is, go check him out. Great trainer, and a great YouTube channel. Tons of information over there. So please go check him out. Noah, any questions as of right now? No? Okay, we're going to keep moving on. Let's see here. Oh, belts. Belts when you dress up. Do you guys just find a dress belt and use it, or do you find a belt that's a little beefier to support what you're going to be carrying? Let's start with Ohio 2A.
No, and actually I just talked to Rex about this a couple days ago. I think one of the reasons why a lot of times I will carry a single stack is because of worrying about how much weight is on my belt. I'm definitely guilty of when I need a dress belt, I just end up going to Walmart and getting a cheap little, I don't know if you could really call it leather, but leather belt. So I actually talked to Rex about this, no more than a week ago today, and I'll be changing that for sure because I would like to be able to carry more comfortably in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually was given a cool belt from a company, and it was a dress belt, but it was designed for EDC. It's just a beefier leather belt, but it also has a ratchet system on it. So as you push it in, it starts to lock down. There's no buckles or snaps or anything like that. It's really cool. I don't know if the company's still around, but it just so happened that they only made dress belts for the EDC community, which is pretty cool. So I know they're out there. But Rex, you're the leather king. Do you have a specific belt that you use to dress up that you know is going to work, or is it just kind of like, I need a dressier belt?
No, I made my own because that's kind of what I do. Yeah, I made a leather belt. That's a gun belt. It's 2 pieces of really thick leather. The first one I made got kind of a funny story out of it. I thought, man, I'm going to make a tank of a dress belt. And when I did, it was too thick and won't fit through belt loops. It's like 2 inches wide, about almost a half-inch thick. It was completely useless, but I can stand on it and it won't fold over on itself. But yeah, so I make my own dress belts.
Okay, cool. Jared?
I have a leather belt that I use when I dress up. Now it's not a concealed carry belt, but it is a heavier leather and it is a true leather. But again, it depends on how I'm dressing up. I mean, if I'm in just a button-up shirt, I'll use my Lunar Concepts belt. If you're not seeing it, if I need to look professional with a tucked-in shirt, I think a leather belt tends to look nice. So I have a black belt and a brown leather belt. Again, they're not designed for concealed carry, but they are heavier duty than your standard leather belt. But they're just not as nice as a carry belt, I'll say. But
Okay.
I do switch them around depending on how I'm dressed.
Okay, cool. Ryan, what do you think about belts when you have to dress up? Do you just find something that's dressier, or do you have something that's dedicated?
Yeah, I have like a dress belt that I use for any time I don't have jeans on. But it's a chintzy one that I probably got at Walmart.
Okay. Excellent. Rex, let's start with you. Do you have some questions? Rex, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, so first off, I'm going to do some shameless self-promotion. This is that belt I was talking about.
Oh,
It
nice.
is.
Holy cow.
It's a tank. That
That's
was
awesome.
my first attempt. One of the questions I had was, and I think Ryan kind of mentioned it, are there areas that you dress up that you won't carry besides like the bar? Like, are there areas you just feel like, I'm formal, it's not okay to carry a gun here because it's a formal situation?
Yeah, good question. Excellent. The atmosphere dictating what you carry or what you don't carry. Ohio 2A, go ahead.
Yeah, if we're focusing specifically on where I don't carry, I do not carry at work, and I do not carry, pretty much any time I'm at work. If I am driving from location to location, that's completely different. For me, actually, a lot of times when we had our discussion about non-permissive environments, I actually thought a lot about when I have to dress up, because that usually goes hand in hand for me.
Yeah.
But other than that, though, I mean, other than being in a situation that's strictly to do with work, I'm carrying, even if I'm dressed up.
Okay. Rex, you want to try answer your own question?
For me personally, there's nowhere that I don't feel it's inappropriate. I feel like it's always appropriate.
Funeral?
No, I'd carry there as well.
Okay, as would I. But yeah, that's. I mean, some people might not feel comfortable doing that for whatever reason, and that's fine. You don't have to carry a gun. That's the great part of the Second Amendment. It just gives you the option to do it if you want to. Jared, is there any places that you wouldn't?
No, if it's a place that might hurt people's feelings, well, they just don't know that I have it. I just don't worry about it. That's the beautiful thing about concealed carrying. What they don't know doesn't hurt them. There's certain places that you might be dressed up, that maybe depending on your state laws, you're dressing up to go into a building that you're not allowed to carry. That's, on you. But I don't worry about people dictating when and where I carry. It just doesn't even faze me. I don't even plan based on that.
Okay, cool. Ryan?
When I normally drop my gun in the car, like, I have nieces and nephews, so a lot of times if I go to their homes, normally I'll just drop the gun in the car and lock it because, I carry appendix, and, like, a lot of times, I'm playing with them, and, it's just something that I don't feel comfortable with, and we're out in the country, and it's just not something I'm really concerned with, so normally I'll drop it off there. I actually had a family member that told my parents that they did not want me coming over if I was carrying, and I just carried anyway. Because, I mean, they're not
your
going to
Christmas
know.
card.
Yeah, I mean, it's not up for people to dictate what I do.
Right.
I dictate what I do, and if they get hurt over it, then whatever. But
Yeah.
you're not going to tell me I can't do something that I'm allowed to do.
Right. Yeah. Great point. For me, I'm not going to be swayed by The atmosphere of wherever I'm going, if I have to dress up, that's not going to dictate if I carry or not. So, I'd like to ask a question real quick, and we'll go down the line. I've heard of this before. I've never seen it done. Staging a fire, if you have to dress up, staging a firearm on another person, such as your significant other, in their purse or whatever bag it is when you go to a dressed up event. Think about that for a little bit. I mean, I've heard of that done, like, hey, I can't carry this gun in my normal spot. Wifey, put this in your purse, and if things get hot, give me your purse. Like, I've heard that. I've never seen it done, but I mean, is that something you guys would think about doing? Have you done it? Ryan, let's start with you.
My girl does not have her license, so no, I would not do that. But I think if she did, I mean, hell yeah. Like, if she's carrying one of them ginormous purses she carries, like, freaking put a bunch of shit in there. I don't care. Make it worth the while for once, you know?
Yeah.
But no, I have never done that. I've staged guns in places, but never on people.
Yeah, excellent. Rex, go ahead.
Back when I was studying how to carry, I watched a ton of YouTube videos, and I saw one. It was called like the Senior Citizen Carrier or something. And he did this big pocket dump where he laid everything out on the table, and he said, "Now all you guys are carrying appendix and whatnot. Let me show you where I carry mine." And he went and got his wife's purse. And this guy was like 70 years old. He was old.
Gosh.
So that was, I don't personally, but that was my inspiration. I thought that was pretty cool. That old guy did that.
Jared, now that's not your wife. That's yours.
No, that's my wife's. But again, like, it is a valid option. My wife has her license to carry. I don't know if you can see. This is her spare purse. If you look in there, there's a separate compartment for a holster. She carries a Glock 19. There's room for 2 spare magazines, and the strap has stainless steel cables in it. So you better believe if we're out in public, my wife has my back. It's neat. I mean, not only does it give you another option for maybe her to be backup with me, I have 2 extra magazines on tap within arm's reach along with mine. So I don't necessarily stage it on her, but I always know that she's carrying, so it's another option for me.
Okay, cool. Ohio 2A?
Yeah, my girlfriend has her CCW. She is amazing at carrying. She takes it seriously, and she's armed. But yeah, many times when I've been in a situation to where I can't carry as much ammo as I would want on me or my 19, it goes in her purse. She has her CCW. There's no problem with it whatsoever. And yeah, it happens very, very frequently.
Cool. Very cool. Like I said, I've never seen anyone do it before. Jared, you'd probably be the closest one that, I mean, kind of, like...
Yeah, like I said, I don't give up my gun.
Yeah.
But I should say this. I'll clarify one thing. If we go into, say, her parents' house, there's often times that I will leave my Glock. If I'm going to be rolling around with my son or playing on the floor or doing stuff like that, we put her purse in a general location that I could get to very quickly. And so that would be the only time that I would say that I've staged the gun on her. But it's so rare.
Okay. I do want to be clear that I still carry a smaller gun when she's onto a 19 of mine with more ammo. So yeah, I don't give up a gun unless it's in a situation like that where we're right next to each other anyways.
Okay.
Hey, can I touch on that a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
So 2 points. First is, like, my girl doesn't have her CCW, but, like, if we go to our family cabin or things like that, you know, I'll put my, like, with the kids around, I'll put my sidecar up on top of the cabinets or something like that. And if I leave, or if I'm going down the river or whatever, I always say to her, hey, I'm leaving, my gun's on the cabinet, you need to rack the slide. Like, you know, like, it's not +1 right now, like, you need to chamber 1 if something happens. And then another thing, too, is I think it's important, you know, our mentality and our minds when it comes to situations is a lot different sometimes than our significant other. So, you know, like, we want to look at the door in restaurants, like, all those things, but not joking, like, Monday I asked my girlfriend, I said, hey, when we were in church, if someone came in the main door and started shooting, where would you go? And she's like, well, I'd go out the way we came. I said, well, okay, well, what if they came in that, you know, what if they came in that door? Where's the other exit? I don't know. But it's like those are the things that I think of. So I think it is kind of important on those things. Like if you're not on the same page, your body's going to react, and hers isn't. So, that's one thing I said. There's an exit out to our right, straight forward. And she's like, yeah, but you're kind of overthinking. I'm like, but if something was to happen and we're on completely different pages, like that's a big deal, especially if, let's say, like Jared was saying, his wife has the gun and she bounces out. It doesn't have to do you any good. So I think it is kind of important to share your mentality. Not that you're trying to instill fear, because that's not what it's about, but making sure that you're on the same page with certain situations so you react accordingly, and you kind of react together.
Yeah. Let's move into that topic a little bit. Church, not necessarily a soft target, but as you can see, as our world changes, as things heat up, it's definitely a target of interest, if we can all agree on that, for you name it. I mean, anybody out there, and some people, I've run into people that say, why would you, on IG and in real life, why would you carry a gun at church, or how could you carry a gun in church? Let's touch on that a little bit. I mean, we're dressed up, we're at church, so let's go to it. Would you carry a gun at a church? Ryan, obviously you would, right?
No.
Okay. Moving on to Jared.
No. Actually, yes. I put that little hashtag after every post, carry everywhere, and I mean it. I mean it. I'm carrying in church. We're regular attenders at our church, so every Sunday we're there. It just doesn't leave my side. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, I look at it from the perspective that it is more of a soft target. So, again, I dress according to what I want to carry, so I may not be as dressed up as some people, but my church is a little more informal.
Right.
But, yeah, I don't ever go to church without my gun. And actually, it's kind of interesting. I'm going to give a little shout-out. Something that I think more churches should do, the president of TA Targets, Kirby, and their pastor and their church actually did training exercises with, a decent amount of their congregation, so that in the event of a situation like that, we're not all just, they're not all just going crazy. Now, it's an unfortunate fact that I think many people in churches as well wouldn't even consider carrying a concealed firearm, but I think there's more than what you think. But
and there's a lot of churches too, to his point, that they encourage it. But now I know there's on your permits in some states, they say you can't do it, but like the churches I go to, they encourage it. So yeah, there's some people that follow the law to the T, and there's some people that don't. But there's also churches that support the idea of having an armed congregation, and I think that's very important. And everyone has to do the thing their way, but you can get permission to do what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, to that point, Ryan, one of my buddies, he was a pastor in Flint, Michigan. That was actually like their biggest church program, was having concealed carry classes at the church.
Yeah, my church is doing a clay pigeon shoot this weekend, so it's it depends on the church, obviously, but like Barrett on Instagram, he runs a church. He's a pastor. He carries all the time.
Yeah, my brother down in South Carolina, he is on like the leadership group for the church, and they actually they rotate select groups that carry all the time at church. So if you're up, then you're basically on duty. It's always undercover. It's always low profile.
Yeah.
But you carry a gun that day to church, and whether you're on the schedule or not, most guys do down there where he's at. I know I do whenever I go to church. But he said they actually have a rotation, so they have 4 or 5 guns in the crowd to their advantage. I think it's great. Ohio,
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, the guy who did my concealed carry course and my girlfriend's is a pastor, and they, kind of what you guys are saying, is they encourage people to carry at their church. They want people to carry at their church. They teach why it's important from a biblical sense to carry. And so, yeah, I think that is pretty cool that everyone has this mindset you're not allowed to carry there, but in reality, some churches highly, highly recommend it and preach it to their people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a church is a huge soft target, let's be honest. I mean,
Oh,
limited
yeah.
exits, mass people together all in one place. I mean,
Yeah.
you've seen it. You've seen it in the news. I mean, that's where it's happened many times.
It's literally it's literally a dangerous spot. Not many people that like churches anymore, so to speak. Or I should say, the church has a lot of enemies now. Is a better way of putting it in this world. And you see a lot of these high-profile pastors now with a security team at all times. They're never facing him in the audience. They're always looking out over the audience, scanning. And when he walks off the stage, they walk with him all the time. It's just the world we live in, unfortunately. It's kind of...
To that point, I think it was 2000, Kentucky passed a law that allowed pastors with or without, don't quote me on that, without a permit to carry in the pulpit.
Oh, really? Wow, that's crazy. But good on them. I mean, that's awesome. You don't see that out of many states anymore.
I wonder why they would even, because I guess it would depend on the church, but if the church is private property, I guess it's not potentially owned by the pastor. Maybe that's why there would be a problem in some states. But, I mean, I would think in most states, I don't know enough laws about every other state, but I know we can carry in churches, so.
It's stupid. I mean, it's stupid that I can carry in a bajillion places, but then I can't carry in. I'm not supposed to carry in certain churches and hospitals, and it's like, yeah, you can carry everywhere except places that have all been attacked in the last 2 years.
Yeah. I got a question from JCS8313. Helps if you get your suit fitted for the type of carry you choose.
It's a comment more than a question.
Yeah, a comment from JCS8313.
I get bigger pants for my holsters and stuff.
Started carrying, I wondered about that. I remember carry. So apparently some people do that.
Yep.
Yeah. Someone messaged me on IG, Rob Turney, at his church.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting popular now. That's the trend. Security teams, and if you're on duty, you're carrying a gun. You're
We
not,
are
you're
not
brandishing
live.
it, but
Yeah, I was told we're not live.
Yeah, we're not live.
Did we get hacked in again?
No, we're back. We're back live. I don't know what happened, but we're back.
ISIS. It was ISIS.
I was gonna say ISIS.
It was probably Hillary, ISIS, or some, I don't know.
Screw you, ISIS.
We're
I've got a
back.
We're all
question.
level-headed gun owners, so that's pretty cool.
We're back live, guys. Hello. Back
Okay,
live.
no, did you have something or?
Yeah, I actually have a couple. actually, this is backing up a little bit to when we were talking about staging with, your significant other. Christina Tucker said that she is so against off-body carry, and on top of that, her formal bag is tiny, so she'd rather have ammo or medical in there. And I have to actually, I didn't get a chance to jump in on that, but I would agree with her. I'm completely against carrying in a purse, like 100%. If you're going to carry a gun, it should be on your person, not off your person. And even with, like, Jared, with that purse that your wife has, with those steel cables, if somebody was trying to rob her or wanted to take that purse, like, they're going to yank her with that purse. Like, they're going to hurt her to get that. Now, the thought process, I'm sure, when that was designed was that, if it makes it harder to get, then they'll go easier. But the thing is that once they latch onto something like that, they're going to yank it hard. Like, they're trying to break a strap. And with that steel cable, like, that'll bring you right to the ground. And we've actually done in combatives class where we'll actually have like a backpack or a regular purse on, and people get dragged right to the ground with them if they won't let them go. So
I'll give a point. I was in your position exactly. I was 100% against purse carry. I went out to Lanco Tactical, talked to some of those guys out there to pick their brain. The thing of it is, my wife was, I'll put it this way. Now, there are a lot of different ways for women to carry in her waistband, but we could not find a way that my wife was comfortable carrying a gun that she could effectively shoot from her waistline. So, I shot a lot with my wife, and that is a possibility, but at the end of the day, if my wife has an option between carrying a big gun with a lot of ammo that she can effectively shoot and engage a target properly, I'm going to equip her with that bag over her not carrying at all. I need her to have a firearm with her, so I'm going to leave that up to each his own. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I was in that same position. And then when I analyzed it and I realized that my wife was only comfortable carrying a tiny little 380 or 9mm, and I had her shoot those guns, and she realized how much they sucked to shoot, but she could fit a Glock 19 with 2 magazines. And it comes down to training and awareness. I mean, if you train with a bag like that, I could become effective with that purse, and I could probably kick someone's butt with that purse too, if I trained with it properly. So I'm not going to go over the line and say I'm against them at all. I will say I was, but for some people, that's going to be their best option, in my opinion. Now, that's up to them to then get the training and to be aware of their surroundings so that somebody doesn't come up behind them and grab the purse off of them and yank them to the ground. Or if they do get yanked down to the ground, how do they respond to that situation? So
yeah, there's a lot of different scenarios. I mean, yeah, if someone goes after the purse, that's a bad scenario. But if you're in a bank and they're not even going at you, they're going at someone else, it's better to have it. So, it's the same like people say you shouldn't carry appendix because chances are someone's going to come at you from the front. It's better to have it, I guess.
But that's the other thing why when my wife carries it, she carries crossbody, and she doesn't typically carry like this. But she actually, with how this is designed, you actually have a lot of control over this bag when you have your arm through it. Now, like I said, I'm not saying that that's the end-all, do-all. I'm sure there's, I could be completely wrong, but it works for us.
I seriously think that's Jared's bag. You really like that bag.
I can start.
I think it's
you know
yours.
what?
Yeah, let's be honest. That's Jared's bag.
But the other thing I'm going to say is she also typically has a toddler over her right hip, and it just, the whole thing is a terrible situation when you're carrying 2 kids to begin with. So we're trying to make that compromise where I want her to have a firearm that she can effectively use, and I want her to have it in a way that she has it with her all the time. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anybody's wrong or right. That's just my opinion.
I just want to throw it out there that my girlfriend carries appendix, which I think is awesome. But sometimes she has to throw her gun with the Kydex holster in her purse, and so much stuff is in that holster when she pulls it out. Like, it looks very, very clean in there, but I can't believe how much random stuff gets in the purse, apparently.
I would say again, like if you look at this purse, the front compartment, that's the thing. You don't just throw a gun in a purse either. If women are going to go out there, don't throw a gun in a purse. This purse, everything is separated. The gun is in its own compartment. The other thing that's allowed us to do is when we go to a place where I'm not supposed to have a firearm, quote unquote,
You have a lot of practice with that.
my wife can put this bag on this side, walk up to whoever's checking the purse and go, yeah, here's my purse. Look inside at all my contents. But what they don't see is that on this side, there's a Glock 19. So it allows us some options that typically on-body carry wouldn't allow her. But I'm just going to, that's just my opinion. Again.
Well, I have the man version of that, which is the 511 Moab 10, and it has its own compartment for a gun. And it's the same thing. It's actually doesn't have zippers or anything. It actually has a concealment pocket.
Right.
And the same thing, if someone wants to look through it, they're not even going to see it, which is one good benefit. But the other one is nothing else is in there. There is nothing else that would get into that pocket because all that goes in there is my gun and nothing else.
Yeah. I think that would be the ticket because I do know women that carry in their purse and they grab like a sticky holster or something and they just drop it in their purse. And that drives me nuts.
That's not good.
Because you just don't know where stuff is. Like, if you're going to carry like that, you have to train with it, and you have to have something designed for it. I mean, there are people that put a lot of thought into these bags, but
So
I don't know.
In that bag you have, is it like a holster where she carries +1, or she carries one not in the chamber, but it's just in the bag?
No, she carries live. Yeah, it's ready to rock. It has its own holster. So it's not just sitting in a pouch. I mean, there's a holster that goes in there. There's Velcro on both sides. That gun is sandwiched in there, and you could throw the purse. The gun's not going to go anywhere. You know, like I said, that's just from our experience. That was just the best option for her. Also, right around the time that we were starting to get her into concealed carrying, she happened to be pregnant. So I guess it was a little before that, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry, end rant.
Let's move on. Noah, do you have any more questions on your end?
Yeah, we had one that would like to know if any of us have had any shoot or no-shoot training or any operational experience, be it law enforcement or military. And then a follow-up to that was, have any of us worn body armor under formal attire?
And who's that coming from?
That's also from JCS 8313.
Okay. Does anyone want to start off on that? Because I have worn body armor under formal attire for many occasions. It sucks, and I don't think it's concealed that well. Most people say like, "Oh, I couldn't even tell." I could definitely tell. Like you just feel weird, but that's neither here nor there. No shoot training. I don't think I've done any. No, have you done any of that?
Yeah,
no shoot.
Yeah, I mean, I would say with what we've done with the shoot house.
Sure.
Definitely, and I've with direct action tactical and some of the courses that I took where it's threat, no threat, issue verbal commands, those kinds of things. So yes, I mean I've had formal training. I would consider some of the stuff that you and I have done together, Ben, also no shoot, especially in the shoot house stuff that we've done in CQB.
From a specific class standpoint, I've never taken a shoot no shoot class, and I don't know of one that exists. It's usually integrated into shoot houses or combatives, things like that, like other classes that I've taken. But I've never taken a designated, if that's what he's asking, I think that's what he's asking, a designated shoot no shoot class. I've done protective details with body armor on under formal clothes for different private groups, not military or Leo. These were private contracting groups. Noah's done that as well. Has anyone else worn body armor or done any of that before? No.
Not formal. Not
yeah,
formal setting.
not probably formal. So yeah, I hope that answers your question a little bit.
Yeah,
from my perspective, I always when I've worn body armor under formal wear, I think you have to get sizes bigger than what you are is a must. It helps if you can get it tailored to your body armor and what you'll be wearing on this specific occasion, because it helps hide it a little bit better, and it makes you more comfortable. But yeah, it's usually twice as hot. Everyone always thinks formal wear is warm, but putting body armor underneath that formal wear, you just the pit stains come out.
Yeah. And none of us are LEO or military.
No, yeah, I'm not LEO or military by any means, by any long stretch. No,
Yeah,
just
and I
private
actually,
stuff.
for me, I've done the same thing. The stuff that I wore armor for is for private contracting, for security, that kind of stuff, and that's exactly what I did. Like I got I had to buy a suit that was like a size larger and a shirt that was a size larger. And once I did that, like it's.
Was that a weird conversation with the tailor? Oh, by the way, I'm wearing body armor under this. Can we measure me with my plates?
Yeah.
I actually was able to buy big boy clothes for the first time, and for when I got that stuff. So that was so that is a little bit different. I'm also I don't wear hard armor underneath. I have soft armor that I wear. I know Ben wears hard armor under his. He'll wear steel plates. Again, on my build, even with larger size clothes, like you can still, even with a slick rig, you can still tell if I'm carrying steel underneath. But with soft armor, I can get away with it. And honestly, if I'm in a situation where I need steel armor at that point, like I'm just throwing that on. Like it's going on for whatever else.
Well, no, the other night when I had it on for that thing we were doing, did it look like I was wearing body armor?
No, with that slickster that you were wearing, you were running it. You were actually running stuff on your on the outside of yours, not even completely slick, and it was easy to, or what, like you couldn't tell. That's another thing. Like for some reason, tactical shirts, 511, things like that, they all run like gigantic in size.
Yeah, huge.
Like their size small is like a normal large, and
yeah,
so you can.
Like they never heard of athletic fit, for crying out loud.
I don't know if that's why. It's because guys are wearing armor, and so they size them bigger, but it's much harder to tell. But even with mine, like if I wore that shirt, like you could tell, I actually put both of them on with my family to let them see, hey, can you tell? And they noticed with mine, when I put my ceramic and steel plates on, like you could see them, versus my soft armor, you can't really tell.
Okay, good question. Do you have anything else on your end?
Yep. Ahmed would like to know if he should carry a bulky trifold wallet or a minimal card holder, and what we carry as a wallet with our EDC, especially it pertains to dressing up. So I'm just going to answer this real quick, so then I can mute my microphone and go back. Like I still, unfortunately, carry a trifold, and it is very bulky. And so what it
helps you when you're driving to reach the pedals, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's
what? Wouldn't it do the opposite then?
Pretty significant.
Holy hell! You have back problem.
It is George Costanza wallet.
Hold it up again. I want to see it. I missed it. Wow, that's worse than mine.
This is something that I really Ben and I have been talking about quite a bit. Trying to make a good decision. I'm cheap, so I don't want to just keep buying minimal wallets and finding out I can't stand them. So I'm spending an awful lot of time trying to figure out which one needs to go. I carry it in my front pocket. I don't even carry it in my back pocket. But
oh my God!
So does it have? Honest to God, does it have Velcro? Be honest.
No Velcro.
He does one of these.
No Velcro. No. But I have like, every hunting license that I've had for the last 3 years. So,
Let me get my JC Penny card.
so, yeah. Anyways, that's what I carry. I would like it to be more minimalist, but that is what I carry every day. And so, honestly, when I'm dressed formal, a lot of times with a suit, I don't carry this in my pants pockets. It actually goes in a jacket pocket because of its size. So, it goes on an inside jacket pocket.
You need shoulder straps for that thing.
It goes in a briefcase. Ohio 2A, wallet.
Yeah, no matter whether I'm dressed up or not, I just use that minimalist wallet from Turner Leatherworks. I think we've talked about it. Probably kind of weird. I've talked about my wallet every time we've been on here. Yeah, it's minimalist. It's actually pretty cool because it limits how much I can actually carry. You actually start thinking about what's important to carry. And then also can be used as a blunt striking object. So, it's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. Rex?
I'm all about the Kentucky-made recycled firefighter wallets.
Yeah, you are.
I love this thing, man. But I'm also I'm picky about my wallets. Last time I got a wallet, I was in 3rd grade. So I like this one a lot.
Yeah, 3rd grade, packing all
Yeah,
those condoms in your wallet.
Nah, dude, I had straight up leather. This is combat boot leather too, so I like it. It's cool.
Nice. Jared, where's your big old Bible you carry in your back?
My wallet is not quite as bad as Noah's, but it's nothing special. I mean, it's definitely not low
How do you guys
profile.
sit down?
It
I don't-
reminds me of those 1980s leather couches. Like, they're just so big.
Probably from 1980.
I will say this: there's few times that I actually have my wallet in my pocket. It's usually, well, I won't tell you where it normally is, but it's not normally in my pocket because I'm going to be honest, I can't have anything in my back pockets at all.
Same here.
It freaks me out. I carry I'm serious. I carry my backpack with me everywhere, so I just throw the wallet in the backpack. Or if I'm driving, it goes in my center console. So I know it's a lame excuse for a wallet and it's terrible, but sue me.
It's terrible.
My wallet goes in my front pocket, too. I don't carry anything in my back pockets, even from just a pickpocketing standpoint. I want it in front, so where I know what's going on. The same reason I carry appendix.
Yeah. Yep. Ryan?
I actually just had a follower send me a wallet, man belt leather, and I actually use that now. It's just a single fold, heavy duty leather. The stitching actually matches my sidecar, and it's actually really sweet. Heavy duty. I have 2 credit cards, 2 licenses, and that's it.
Nice.
So I can actually sit on it.
I prefer a very thin wallet, and may or maybe not, Wiseman Company might be coming out with something soon to aid everybody in thin wallet carrying. So stay tuned for that. I'm not releasing anything more than that, but I prefer a very thin wallet that's functional. I do not want to sit on a book. Noah drives me crazy with that wallet. He's got receipts in there literally from 1912 when they hand wrote them on stone. And
He has
they-
the actual Declaration of Independence.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Oh, God.
Look,
Jeez.
where else am I going to carry my Sheets free coffee coupons?
Yeah, that is from the 70s. Throw that out. It's not valid anymore, Noah.
It's a Costanza wallet.
Yeah, it is the George Costanza wallet.
He has an ankle holster for his wallet.
Yeah. God. Oh. Okay.
Or my
moving
very
on.
first duck stamp.
You don't. It's not valid anymore.
If you're trying to win us over, you're losing
I
terribly.
know, you old
Like, hey guys,
geezer.
I need to have this wallet. No.
Yeah, you could talk to my grandfather about all these things, but nothing is resonating with me right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Just dump it all
Does
out.
it have your AARP card in there?
Oh, no.
Bird.
Show the audience that picture of you in your wallet of you in a suit. I want to show that.
Why do you have that?
No, put yourself up on the big screen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
Hold
that's
on,
It was like
spicy.
John Wilkes Booth.
Look at those locks. Oh, God.
That's
what were
right.
you doing with your life at the time? Holy
I was
smokes.
on a cruise, man.
Yeah, that was called the Titanic.
And your
It
life
kicks
vest
you
was
off.
your wallet.
All right, let's move on. Noah, do you have any more questions on your end?
No, the only other thing was the same. Was he was talking about whether or not we'd ever been involved in stress shoots. And again, I would just say that we.
I'd wrap that into a million other classes.
Yeah, like
we've
that's. I mean, getting slapped around with a stick while you're shooting. I'd say.
Yeah, you liked it, Noah. You
So-
loved it.
Oh, here. Memorize target order, run 2 miles, kit, start with carbine, shooting targets in order, lose points, 5 minutes rest, 50 burpees in kit, lunge, 50 meters, conduct qual with M9. M9 targets have shoot, no shoot targets. So, again, yes, we have, and they'll actually be running a course very similar to that. It's not
At
exactly
Minuteman.
like that at our Minuteman class.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be, yeah, it's going to be pretty close to that. It sucks, but you need to know how you operate under stress and high elevated heart rate. That's why I love the Scoot and Shoot challenge. I think that was great. That was the first challenge where I saw, and Ryan, where did that come from? Like, did someone challenge you, or did you just like, hey, let's do it?
I just made it up off of something that we kind of did in Barrett's class the other weekend.
Yeah, it was a good challenge. I liked it a lot.
It's good. I like it because it speeds you up, slows you down, elevates your heart rate, and it makes you get sight picture and lose it and get it again, lose it and get it again.
Right, because you have to disconnect between all the yard markers, and you got to find it again after you just elevated your heart. It was great.
Right.
Does anyone else have any questions from the panel?
One.
Okay, go ahead.
It was kind of what we talked on earlier about changing your EDC for your formal attire, and it made me think about consistency of carry. We have a lot of different perspectives on that. Some of you guys change your carry 3 times a day, and some of you guys don't change it in 10 years.
Right.
So I'm just curious, what's everybody's thoughts on consistency of carry?
I'll start off. I switch, I would say, daily. So it's not real consistent. I mean, the gun stays pretty consistent, and it's based on season, but it does change daily. I won't switch it probably during the day, but I'll wake up, go to my Crate of Wrath, pick out what I want to, wear today, and that's what I'll wear for the day. And at the end of the day, I'll do my, my dry fires and put everything back in the crate. And then tomorrow will be a new day. It changes a little bit, but other than that, it's pretty consistent. Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, I go between my full-size M&P or the Shield. The points that I like to make is I like consistency. If you are going to switch guns, to try to have consistencies in the triggers and or practice with the different triggers, because what I found happen a lot with me is if you have a long pull trigger versus a very snappy trigger, whatever you train on the most, your body does that same cadence with the different trigger, and it can really affect the way you shoot. So that's why I actually got the Shield and got rid of the Bodyguard, amongst other things. But I like that the triggers were relatively the same. That's why I like people that go 19s to 43s. And, like I have a buddy that has like a Ruger full size, and then he'll carry like a Shield, where the trigger is completely different. One has a safety that he runs, one doesn't. So, that's for me, I want it to be relatively the same.
Okay, cool. Jared?
I keep it consistent almost every single day. I don't change much. But I found what I think works reasonably well for me. When you guys come up with something new that I find interesting, I usually give it a shot. If I like it, I keep doing it. So I'm always open to changing things, but I like to try to keep it as consistent as possible. Just for what Ryan was saying, I don't want to add too many variables, and I think if I would add a different gun or something, I'd want to make sure that I train equally on the two so I know that I can effectively manipulate both. That's all I would say.
Okay. Rex, go ahead.
I have the two guns, and I almost always carry the M&P full size. So, and then my other gun is a J-frame, which has completely different kind of trigger in it, completely different everything in it. So that's something I've kind of been working towards, is potentially switching to like an M&P 9 compact or shield. Because of what Ryan said, like I want to be a little bit more consistent in the trigger, because those are two opposite ends of the
Way
spectrum.
different. Do you ever find that if you go and shoot your full size a lot, do you ever switch to the other one at the range on the same day and notice how badly you shoot it at the beginning?
Well, I mean, to begin with, it's a snubby. I shoot it badly anyways. But yeah, definitely. And I just put an Apex trigger kit in it, in the J-frame, and that helped a lot. But even then, it's still like, if they're not real close, I'm not going to be super accurate with it after shooting the full size.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Ohio 2A.
Yeah, I'm probably the most guilty of changing my carry like multiple times a day. When I'm working from home, every time I walk outside, I re-gear up again. But with that said, is even though the actual tools might change, the roles always are filled. I always have a gun. I always have a light. I always have a spare mag. I always have a folder, and I always have a fixed blade. All of that might change every single time what the exact tool is, but those roles are what's the most important for me every time I walk out the door. And the placement's always the same for them.
Okay. Oh, and you always have a wise guy, of course, right?
Well, yeah, of course the wise guy.
Hey, I straight up used my Wise Guy today.
Nice.
I used it at the range
Nice.
to tighten my GoPro stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I was trying to find a way to take a video of me using my Wise Guy to tighten one of the screws on my sheath, because it was like two tools being used to fix another one. But yeah, I couldn't do that.
Yep. I used it on. I mean, I was at the range. I used it on a scope mount the other day. I mean, I don't know. I just did. That's what it fit, and it works. It was awesome. Okay. So, does anyone else have any more questions for the panel before we sign off?
Yep, I got a couple here real quick.
Okay. Go ahead.
WREKN, Reckon, would like to know what...
That's what they called me in college.
what we think about conversion kits for EDC, like 40 to 9. Are they reliable? Now, I did answer back in chat that I had already converted mine with just drop-in conversion barrels and had 0 issues, but just throwing that out there to everybody else.
Yeah, every on Glocks, every conversion I've seen has been easy peasy, worked flawlessly. I don't know if for the rest of you.
You're
What?
converting it because you got a 40 and you want a 9?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, 40s, a lot of people are doing this. 40s are really affordable because no one wants them. So you can find a used 40 Glock and get a conversion barrel, drop it in, and you got 9. Or you can switch it back to 40 if you ever needed to or wanted to. But so a lot of people are doing that. It's just affordable, economic. A lot of people are doing it. Noah did it on his guns. He was thinking about trading them all in, and he would have owed money on the trade to get what he wanted. Instead, he just traded guns in, put the credit towards conversion barrels, and he actually came out on top, them owing him money. So it just depends on what you want to do. Conversions, as like I said, as far as Glock goes, they're pretty flawless. So yeah.
I would still encourage people to test it, though, because when I got my Glock 34, I was thinking for competition. And, of course, the Glock 35, you can go in different fields and things. And I'm still learning about the competition stuff, so I could be wrong. But I thought maybe having the Glock 35, which is the 40 caliber long slide, use that for competition, then put a 9mm conversion barrel in it, or if I wanted to conceal carry it, which actually sometimes I do. But when I looked online, there's actually, from what I saw, and people don't post things when they work flawlessly, what I saw, though, is a lot of those conversion barrels didn't work that well. I'm not saying that's always going to happen, but I would definitely suggest someone run a high number of 9mm through that conversion barrel before ever carrying it, because it can cause problems.
Yeah, I'd run the piss out of it before I carried it. And Noah, you did. Noah ran all sorts of stuff through his. And I don't think you've had a hiccup yet, have you?
No, I mean honestly, it's the only thing that you and I have found is that when we rack the slide with a live round, it doesn't like shoot the round out like I
It's a
can't
little
do the
weak.
I can't
Yeah.
do the fun like rack the slide, catch the bullet tricks. Like it's more like rack the slide, catch it coming out of the magazine well.
Yeah.
But it ejects fired shells just fine, like zero issues with that. So, yep, no problems.
Okay.
One more.
Do you have another one?
Yeah, I got one more here, and they would like to know how do we carry while we're working out, whether biking, running, backpacking, or however we're working out. So, Rex, I'm just going to throw this right over to you to start.
Currently, if I'm doing anything that requires me to bend over, I'll just have it in the gym bag, and the gym bag stays right next to me everywhere I go. If not, I put on my Lunar Concepts belt underneath my gym shorts and carry my revolver, and then the full size is still in the gym bag.
I've done that as well. Carried my Lunar Concepts because it's so rigid. I just wear it underneath my gym shorts and carry what I normally carry. That's a good idea. I recently started doing that. Let's move on to Ohio 2A. You love gym shorts.
Yep, I love gym shorts very much. Do the exact same thing. Use my belt underneath my gym shorts. I've been using the Lunar Concepts for about the past month or so. And yeah, I put it on underneath it, pull the gym shorts up to the belt, and it's good. But like Rex is saying, is if it's going to use a lot of movement where I need to bend over, I'd much rather have it in a gym bag right next to me. But other than that, though, I mean, like, pretty much any other type of exercise, hiking, definitely, I always have it just underneath my gym shorts.
Cool. Very cool. Jared?
I'm not a gym goer, so
No.
but anything physical that I do is on the days that I happen to be doing something in the shop, or if I'm doing something around the house. I mean, if I'm burning out steel targets on the plasma table, I carry 4 o'clock. It's just easier picking up the targets, bending over. Appendix would just destroy me if I was trying to move steel around. If I'm hiking or like in a hunting situation, I carry outside the waistband. Almost always if I'm hiking, I'm outer waistband. Some people are going to probably lose their crap over that because it's so taboo to ever open carry, but we are an open carry state, and if I'm in the middle of nowhere hiking, it's outer waistband.
But what if you offend the deer that's out there?
Well, I'm here to hurt
hipster.
feelings. I'm not worried about your safe spaces if that's what you're getting at.
Well, if he's hunting, he's not going to see any deer.
Well, that would be
Rex.
Ben. Ben
That
never
hurts.
sees deer.
Liberals, for that matter.
Let's just be real. As soon as you go hunting, they're all away, but you're going to see a million squirrels.
Yeah.
Rex, I don't know what your problems are, but I just don't have problems shooting deer.
Oh, I have major problems. Whenever I go out, I don't see anything.
It's
No.
all that
hiding.
perfume, dude. You got to lay off.
No, I won't.
The man
No.
cloud.
Axe body cloud.
Yeah.
Well, just hit him with your car when you're leaving.
Yeah. Seriously.
You'll see them there.
Yeah, great question. Ryan, do you have anything to add to the question?
What was the question again?
Working out. Working
You
out.
got me on that deer talk. I'm distracted.
The
Working
question
out.
was,
Oh,
Working
for
out.
gym and stuff.
Yes.
You don't even know the question. I
Yes.
got it here. Let me do it. I'm not good about carrying it at the gym. I'm working on getting a bag like the guys. I'd like to have like a day pack. And then as far as hiking and stuff like that, I rock my normal appendix style full setup. And then the only thing I will say is I normally always carry appendix, but if I am working in the yard, I will switch to 3-4, just because I know I'm going to be like bending over a lot and stuff, and that's uncomfortable.
yep. Sure
So for me, I carry, if I'm running, I have a revolver, a little Smith & Wesson with a bobbed hammer, 5-shot that I carry in the pocket with a pocket holster. I use that for a lot of the working out kind of things. If I'm doing stuff, I'll carry that. Cycling is, if I'm biking, like that one is tough. I was just starting to carry the last, when I was seriously cycling and hadn't really figured out what to do. And I've kind of dropped off a lot of my cycling, so I haven't been out on my bike in quite some time. And I've thought a lot about it, and I'm pretty sure that I could still carry my revolver. If I'm wearing a jersey in one of my jersey pockets, I could carry that same revolver. I definitely wouldn't want to be leaning over the handlebars or try and carry it in bike shorts by any means. So I have not tried that, so I'm not saying that it will work, but I have thought about it, and I'm pretty sure with a good pocket holster and a small frame gun like a 43, 42, P938, a little 5-shot revolver or 6-shot, you could carry it in a jersey pocket.
Yeah. Any other questions? No? Okay. All right. Thank you for everyone that tuned into tonight's roundtable. It was a great discussion. It's a little bit of a rabbit trail because you can get into a lot of different topics, but I don't think it's talked about enough. Dressing up is kind of a rare occasion for a lot of us, and then for some of us it's not, but we still need to be alert, be prepared, and carry the things we need to do to protect ourselves and our family. So I'm glad we had this discussion and we got to talk about it a little bit. Ohio 2A, where can they find you if they have more questions they want to ask you?
At Ohio 2A on Instagram.
Cool. Rex, where can they find you? Can't hear Rex.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
At Kentucky Carry on Instagram. I want to give a shout out to my little buddy Jay Wagner, 55 right now. He just had a wisdom teeth surgery, but he's watching us.
Nice. Good luck with those teeth. You got chubby cheeks, I bet, right now. Eat lots of ice cream. Jared, where can they find you? Where can they find cool targets?
Check us out, first of all, at TA Targets. We got all kinds of cool stuff for you. Definitely check us out there, see what we got going on. And then if you want to see what I got going on and all the goofy crap I get into, check out at Keystone Carry.
Very cool. Ryan?
Embrace the recoil on Instagram.
Yeah, best looking guy on Instagram. You won't be let down. Okay, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I'm Ben from Wise Men Company. Noah, thank you for producing tonight. If you guys want to check out some of our stuff, our products, and what we do for the 2A community, go to wisemencompany.com. We're also on Instagram, Wise Men Company, and we look forward to talking to you guys on the next roundtable. We'll see you then. Thank you.